Hey everyone, we're back again. Just want to say a huge thank you for everyone who reached out for the last video on fear. An overwhelming response and a lot of encouragement. So thank you very much. And looking back on that one and taking a quote from Dale Carnegie, I thought I'd put together a little mini series on this fear thing. So Dale Carnegie says, "Worrying creates a cycle of overthinking, which is fueled by fear." Now we talked about fear last week, and we're going to talk about worry or anxiety today. And then next week, we're going to talk about overthinking. But first, we want to talk about worrying or anxiety. There's a lot of anxiety. There's some amazing resources. Anxious for Nothing from Max Lucado is a fantastic book to help you understand what your anxiety looks like and even how anxiety has progressed. The stress that we're under today compared to the 1940s, people would think that they were clinically insane based on the amount of stress and anxiety that we are under today, just based off that book from Max Lucado and tons of research he's put into it. But multiple books that I've read and multiple resources kind of come down to three major areas in which we can help control our anxiety and reduce our worrying. And in real estate, there's a ton of anxiety and a ton of fear, a ton of worrying that's wrapped around all that fear. Whether you're selling or you're buying, we have resources available for our sellers, a whole guidebook, step-to-step process, checklists, everything we have to try and mitigate and reduce that worrying or anxiety, but it's still going to be there. And when you're buying, it's an exciting time, but it's also a stressful time, and worry does come. There's a lot of times where, is this the right house or should we wait for another one? Or are we making the right decision? What if I bought a lemon? Who knows what's happening? There's a lot of worry and anxiety. So again, back to the top three things that I find are coming through every book that I've read on anxiety and worrying. So number one, sleep is the first step. Well, I was going to change this over here. Sleep is the first step in trying to control your anxiety and reduce your worrying. Jordan Peterson talks about in one of his books that it's not necessarily the time that you go to bed, but your morning routine is so important. And that a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists, when they're working with their clients and their patients to control anxiety and depression, it's setting that morning routine, because that morning routine is so crucial and so important. And a lot of scholars say that it's waking up before 8 a.m. or even before 7 a.m. And we all know about or if you don't know about it, you're going to find out now, but the 5 a.m. morning club. So it's waking up early in the morning, not being like a university student or a high school student sleeping until noon, but it's waking up early and setting that routine from the start. When you're well rested too, and you are going to sleep at proper times and waking up at proper times, and you have that routine, sleep can help reduce that mental fatigue. When you reduce that mental fatigue, this can help you think clearer and you can make better decisions. And that's fantastic. With real estate, we do want to help our clients buy and sell. And the clearer their minds are, the better decisions they can make. Is this a good offer? A seller might ask. Well, if you're well rested, you can help work through the motions, work through the process, and come to that answer. We can obviously help and guide along the way, but we want our sellers to make the right decision here. Is that the right offer or not? It's okay if it's not. And as a buyer, if you are well rested, you're in a proper mental state. When you're looking at purchasing, you're not going to be driven solely by emotion, but you can kind of approach things with a clear mind and make a great decision that's going to change or impact your future. The second thing we want to talk about with worrying is identifying your triggers and minimizing that exposure. Yes, real estate is not for the faint of heart. As agents, there's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety that's placed on us, and it's just controlling that. Identifying those triggers that release all this anxiety and worrying, and minimizing that exposure, or at least understanding when you're going into that environment that this is going to happen. And once you've acknowledged that anxiety is normally thrust upon you or put on you during this exposure, then you have a chance to combat it before it reactively takes place. You can be proactive in the situation. The third thing that comes up with all these books is doing more of what you enjoy, and keep yourself busy. So if you have time to sit around and time to overthink, which we're going to get into next week, you know, your anxiety and your worries can spiral and spiral and spiral and spiral and spin around, and all the next thing you know, you're like, oh my goodness, the sky is falling, or whatever is crippling you. So doing more of what you enjoy, it doesn't have to cost money. And actually, I would challenge you. There's a lot of people right now saving to get into the market, or a lot of people saving right now to pay off debts or pay down that home equity line of credit, or a lot of people saving right now just to, move to the next stage in life, or saving for the fact of, I'm going to retire soon. So doing more of what you like. So I want to challenge you this week to find something that you enjoy that doesn't cost you anything. It could be going to the park with your kids. It could be taking a trail, visiting nature. It could be, just relaxing, reading a book. Now, all these things are free. You don't have to be spending money on all these lavish and fancy vacations, which are amazing. But the more you start seeing them through social media, the more anxiety and the more worry you have, because you're like, oh, I'm not doing that. How are they affording that? That's crazy talk. That's just a small glimpse of what's actually happening in their life. So again, this week, see if you can find something that you can do, you can enjoy with yourself, with your spouse, your partner, your family, whatever it is. Who knows? Maybe you have a pet. Spending time with that pet, that dog, that cat. The shelters are being filled with animals right now that were adopted during COVID. So maybe it's, volunteering. That's free, and that'll make you feel good about yourself. So again, we want to come back to this idea of stop worrying, start living. A wise man once said, do not worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow can worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Again, if you have any questions, continue to send messages my way. The team is here to help. We're here to help navigate the stressful time that buying and selling real estate can be, and reduce that fear, calm down that anxiety. And next week, we're going to talk about overthinking. Thanks so much.